Warning. The following may contain concepts, ideas, and/or reflections unique in nature and not yet approved by government and/or corporate entities. This content is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended to stimulate further reflection or to perpetuate additional discourse beyond the scope already outlined by institutional curriculum.
I think the D stands for Deutschland.
Alrighty, let's get into it. We were gonna do probably a little bit of a lighter duty video today, but just kind of fell into the lap that this news about the AFD deaths. There was seven candidates or prospective candidates who have died in the past, I think, 2 weeks. So the question is this just a normal statistic, or is something untoward going on? Let's cue the intro. Nefarious. Cue the intro. Okay, so as one would, it would be probably best to start covering the data, and then we'll go from there.
Sure.
So, okay. So first off, I think I'm just gonna set up a bit of a screenshot, and then just post the screenshot because it's just one of these things that I'm gonna be bouncing around a lot. Okay, so let's maybe go to I think the BBC would be a good place to start for this one. Okay, let's go to the MSN. It's from the Washington Examiner. 7 German AFD politicians die within weeks of each other ahead of elections. 7 Alternative für Deutschland politicians died within 2 weeks of each other before local elections, prompting party leaders to hint at foul play. 5 of the AFD candidates and 2 reserve candidates in the North Rhine-Westphalia died within 14 days of each other. Okay, so now it goes through the list of the candidates who died. Some of them are older than others. Like one was 80 years old, so it's possible that was, just his time to go.
How ambitious.
Some of them were a little bit younger in the sense of, 59. I mean, politicians nowadays seem to just be getting older and older anyways. I mean, look at the American candidates, and a decent amount of them are looking like geriatric patients. But so yeah, I mean, 2 of them were 59, one was 66. So is there anything weird happening? Now,
the laws of probability.
The official is that there was nothing suspicious. That it was either caused of Okay, let's read this one here. Police told DPA news agency that the first 6 deaths were either from natural causes or the cause wasn't being divulged to preserve family privacy. Okay.
Well, even if it was natural cause, I mean, you don't need to get into the specifics.
Well,
if you're absolutely certain you had a coroner go through it and say, yes, indeed, natural cause, you don't need to get specific. But you would clarify that this is indeed natural cause.
Well, considering that these people are public politicians, it's weird that they suddenly in death got really bashful and shy and didn't want to be in the public eye. But
right.
I mean, it's just kind of an odd statement to preserve, because you're kind of like pulling on people's heartstrings, right? You're kind of you're basically saying, well, these people just lost someone, and you want like information from them. Oh my! Oh,
No, you know what
you
kind of reminds me
sicken
of?
me.
No, it reminds me of I think the excuse for not opening the Epstein files was because it was to protect the victims of Epstein and associates.
Right.
But
Now,
the victims actually want to talk about it and want
oh yeah,
things exposed.
No, I know. For privacy of to protect them. Well, I want to say something. Oh, shut up. You stay silent. We're trying to protect your privacy here. So I mean, okay, let's just start off. Like, we're just trying to look at this completely unbiased. I mean, we're not German, so we don't really have any like a vested interest in the German elections. But as the major economic power driving forth the EU, it is of an interest if something weird is happening in their democratic process.
Well, especially considering that they are talking about amassing a European army of the willing to go up against Russia. I think this is very pertinent and important.
And we've discussed this before, that democracy is kind of a sham, and this might serve to provide
Illustrate.
evidence of it. So whether you agree with a certain group or politician, if you think that democracy is about assassinating those that you disagree with, well, then I guess we have a different idea of what democracy looks like. But here's the thing. Now we're just speculating here. Maybe 7 people dying within 2 weeks ahead of an election cycle is not that weird of a thing. So what is
Convince
told?
me.
Well, what is told? Like, let's just see. I think it's on this one that it says. This is from Euronews now. That it said only in one case was an official investigation launched, which didn't uncover any evidence of foul play. The 3 other fatalities were determined to have died in circumstances that were not deemed suspicious. Of the candidates whose deaths were announced on the 2nd of September, 1 died of kidney failure, while the other committed suicide. Huh. Well, the way that they phrase that there, and I think this is just, it's not as much about like the story, but it is about the power of word positioning. The way that they position that, it's basically if you didn't see it already, it's to take as much attention off of the suicide as you possibly can. So they put the suicide as kind of like the last afterthought.
Yeah.
Plus, they put nothing was deemed suspicious. But I believe that what they mean is for the 3 prior deaths, nothing was deemed suspicious. But because they put that as the last sentence before they start the next one, it kind of seems to flow in that the suicide wasn't deemed suspicious. So you can kind of orchestrate with wordplay and guide people into making conclusions that aren't black and white. They can always go, well, that's not what we actually said. But you're kind of like you're putting dots close to one another so that people automatically are connecting them. Yeah. Okay, so let's just now here's where I think the major actually I should scroll down on this one.
Obfuscation.
So this one's from the BBC. The North Rhine-Westphalia has a population of 18 million, and a reported 20,000 candidates will run for office in its 14th of September local elections. Okay, so right now what we're seeing is we're making the circumstance of 7 candidates dying before the election as not really that significant, because when you put it up against 20,000 people, that's not really that many, right? But here's the thing, is that this is another bit of wordplay. So this is a nice experiment to really show the full flexing of wordplay and propaganda, and just the subtlety of using words to allow people to draw the conclusions that you want them to draw. So when you're referring to the deaths in the AFD, most people are probably drawing a conclusion that 20,000 candidates are in that party, right? But for me, because let's remember that this is not a federal election, this is just for this one district, and there's 16 districts in Germany, that this doesn't really, 18 million out of 80 million people is, yes, it's a larger district, so it does actually make up 12% of the
12,
population.
15, yeah, something
12,
like that.
12%. So, it's a significant portion of Germany, but not an insanely large one. So 20,000 seemed a little high to me. So I look up, because I want to find out how many are actually members. This is from Reuters, that's saying that membership has grown, right, in recent years. And in 2023, there was 46,000 members. So now I'm thinking...
Whoa, 46,000, not
There's-
4,600?
46,000 members,
Okay.
but here's the thing. That's people with official membership are not necessarily candidates, right? They're just people that are like card carrying.
Yeah,
they're not
members of a
necessarily
party.
running actively for
Right,
election, right? So this is another thing. In the world of vagaries now, it becomes very difficult to actually separate and go, what are we talking about? Like membership, candidates, incumbents. Who are these people? But the fact still remains that 46,000 are for all of Germany, right? And this is just a 12% portion of Germany, right? So you're saying half of and this is not where the AFD is really having a significant pull. There's other districts in the north where they're actually the majority, like they're the elected. This one's more of I would call it a battleground area, because they're not the majority in any district, but they have been gaining popularity a
Didn't
lot.
you say something like they went from 8% to 14%?
Or 18%.
And when you have so many different political parties, 18% is almost a majority. Well, I would say being in the 20s somewhere would be probably a majority.
So this one's about like diversity and everything, but it's talking about how diverse the different parties are. But in this one, it says this is categorizing the totality of the federal election, that there was a total of 22,000 candidates looked at. Now this isn't of the AFD, this is of all the candidates. So let's go to another thing. This is actually from the German government website. Now they said that in their election, the federal election, that there was 4,500 candidates that took part in the federal election, and that was spanned amongst a bunch of different parties, of which there's actually like 29 different parties, right? So for myself, I'm getting kind of confused on what the actual numbers are. Is there that many more candidates that would participate in a smaller district than the federal district? Possibly. How many different parties are involved in this district election? Is there 28 different parties? So the real key is how many candidates for the AFD are there actually? That's what we really need to know. If there's been 7 deaths, the way to really get the data is to compare how many people are taking part in this election.
I know
Right?
nothing.
So that information is impossible to get. Because you'll just go into a circle where it'll just always, no matter how you word it, it'll always just pull you back to these main articles. So you can't find. It should be very easy to get. I mean, how many candidates are running in this election?
Right.
I mean, if you're dealing, you don't even know
In
how
this
many people there.
regional
I mean, this is like the most official thing. These people are on a ballot box. I mean,
Right.
or a ballot ticket. So come on, like you obviously have this information. Just tell us how many damn people there are.
And it can't be 20,000 because 20,000 are running in the entire national election, which
Right.
is already come and gone.
And all of these, another thing is all of these deaths are happening in areas. So I've got a list of the different, there's the Paderborn is the one, and there's not a huge population, and the AFD has been gaining significantly. It's at 18%. Last election cycle, it was at 7%. I mean, they're exponentially growing in this area that is not a high population hub. Then we go into the other district, which I think is Lippe, whatever, and that's they're at 21% in the federal election. In the previous, they were 9. So I mean, this goes to the other 4 districts that have had these deaths, 18%, and then the other one, they were at 8%. And this one, they were at 16% in the last election. They were at 5.8%. So, I mean, what we're seeing is it's weird that every district that these people have mysteriously kicked the bucket have seen exponential growth, right? So really, I mean, if I want to put my own opinion onto this, I would say that this is a battleground area. These areas are on the verge of potentially being flipped into this, ultra conservative, more nationalistic sort of vein, and so it's. And
isn't there?
It would in comparison, it would be what I would call a swing state.
Yeah.
For the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? And we all know how important a swing state is. So if you had a bunch of deaths happening in Florida, let's just say.
Well, that's not a swing state, I don't think.
Yeah, Florida's a swing state.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how many, which one, but Florida's a pretty big swing state. It does have, it can. Remember, they had the recount with Bush and Gore.
Yeah,
back in
25 years ago.
Well, whatever. I don't give a shit what I mean,
Okay.
if it's changed or whatever. It's just a fucking example,
Okay.
right? The point is that a small little push one way or another can have a big effect down the road with the election. It could mean one person wins or another person loses.
I have a question,
Go ahead.
Isn't there go ahead, condescendingly, patronizingly. Is there only other really 2 main political parties that have basically run Germany at least since World War II? Like you got the Social Democrats.
Well, yeah, mostly like
the
the
Christian Democrats.
the Christian Democrats and the Social Democrats.
So is there any number, since we're talking about this Westphalia, Rhineland regional area that is about to have an election? Is there any number of casualties or deaths among those other 2 parties?
Well, they said that there is, but given the fact that they never named who died and when they died, because you could say, oh, there has been deaths, but if you're taking it like from a 10-year span, no shit. The point is it happening in a cluster right before an election. That's the suspicious stuff, not that someone that was a candidate once did die at some point.
So there's
right?
a lack of openness then as to... So in a sense, it almost raises more suspicions since they're not really being that forthcoming with the information on the other 2 political parties.
This is another thing about like misinformation. Is it's amazing how you can take these pundits and they'll talk about how misinformation is everywhere, yet they'll basically say 7 people died and that's all you need to know, right? So they don't back up to squash any speculation. They don't like give you a big trough of information that you go, okay, well, this is basically settled in my mind without a shadow of a doubt. They basically, almost like a storyteller would, leave it hanging, right?
Mm-hmm.
7 people lost their lives.
Now, was that 7 dwarfs who walk into a house and...
So yeah, I mean, it becomes kind of difficult now to actually figure out just how many people we're talking about. I think in comparison, I would imagine that there's by the looks of the map, there's probably I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 1,000 candidates for the AFD that are running. More like
for this particular
for this particular thing.
region. Okay.
And yeah, some of those people were backups, so they weren't actually actively on the ballot. There was two of the people that died were not on the ballot. They were just waiting in the wings in case someone died. But the point is that it's this is not the first time things like this have happened. I mean, in I think it was Romania. They had that like a nationalistic Romanian politician, hugely popular. Everybody elected him, and the EU said, no, I don't think so. And people said, well, why? He was like. He was the wrong
No, he wasn't
person to
embracing
elect.
the rainbow flag.
He was the wrong person to elect. How about you try again and
Come up with
once
the
you
right
get it
candidate.
right, then
Yeah.
we'll allow your democracy to shine like a brilliant beacon to the rest of the world. I mean, Mexico is a lot less subtle with these type of things. I mean, we were just looking at all the different assassinations that happened. I mean, even in a 1-year period, I think it's
Well,
like
even leading up to the
Claudia
election,
Sheinbaum?
Yeah, the election of her. There was something like maybe 25 assassinations,
yeah.
bullet-ridden type
No,
of
I know.
assassinations, and then after her election. While she's president, I think there's in 2024 there was maybe 4 or 5. I don't know if you call them aspiring politicians,
Right.
candidates, and then 2023. I think there's still about another 3 or 4 candidates that. Did I say 23? I meant 2025 that have died of mysterious circumstances. Projectiles entered their body and exited it.
Yeah.
And it's the unbelievable thing is that as far as we know, we haven't dug into this that much, but nobody's been apprehended on any of these assassinations.
Right.
With all the photo cameras, I'm sure Mexico must be flooded with photo cameras and whatnot.
Oh yeah, for
license
sure.
plate readers and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a part of the 21st century as well.
Yeah. For sure.
You would think, hey. Haven't you found at least a scapegoat to pin this on?
Right.
No.
Like the era of the chicken buses and all that is past. I mean,
Right.
I think a lot of people would be shocked a bit about just how modern and advanced most areas are with
Right.
video cameras and
And
and the like.
possibly in Europe, they take a slightly more subtle approach.
Well,
just,
also
just of the possible nature that you rub up against somebody with some kind of toxic that absorbs into their skin. There's all kinds of crap like that.
well also remember
triggering heart attacks.
Yeah. Also, remember that AFD was also deemed to be a terrorist organization, right? Officially by the government, granting authorization of the spy agency or whatever of Germany to track and to be monitoring as they would like Al Qaeda or any other sort of terrorist organization. So these people were under a lot more scrutiny than some of the other political
and
parties operating within Germany.
Then consider the French Rothschild puppet that somehow can't not be dislodged. He's like a very, very bad stubborn tick. And so what they did is some kind of political shenanigans in the French political process. They were able to disqualify Marine Le Pen. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
I know that this stuff happens all the time. That's why if we sound jaded about the democratic process, it's because it's not democracy if you keep on having an election until people elect the international banker who is going to be a globalist operating for big corporations and everything else. And if you try to elect anybody else, they either the results get thrown out or they just up and die.
Or
right?
consider even that little beauty Italian prime minister who said emphatically, no more wash ashore immigrants into Italy. We can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't believe
but now
that
she changes her tune once she's in office because she was maybe visited and persuaded that to see the light.
Well, it is funny, though, to me when people think like it's conspiratorial to think that politicians are threatened or killed or anything like that. Like, if you look at the type of people that you're dealing with, the type of people that have poisoned the waterways and the streams of in the United States, in like Virginia or something, given like horrible deformations and birth defects to an entire generation, hyper cancers and everything like that, and the cavalier attitude that they have to something like that, it seems insane that you would go, well, anybody that might want to apply pressure, legal pressure to some of these corporations might be under a threat of maybe some accident befalling them. I mean, I don't understand how people are that gullible.
Sure, if this does not seem totalitarian, that the European Union, all formed under the auspices of economic prosperity, is now intolerant to not one member state not going along with the program. That sounds totalitarian to me.
Well, and another thing is the idea that assassination of a politician would be conspiratorial to even think. That even sounds crazy to me, because it's like that's been what's happening basically since the dawn of civilization. I mean, if you look at like the history books of British kings or English kings, you're seeing like it's nonstop assassinations. It's an assassination fest. And
your
so,
ancestral slip is showing.
Well,
you always seem to refer to them.
Well, whatever. I mean, you could go back to Rome. I mean, do we think that Julius Caesar just died of natural causes? Is it conspiratorial? And here's another thing. I guarantee you that at that time when he was assassinated, it being a prickly thing with the senators with the blood on their hands, the average person would not probably want to be shouting on the street corner that he was assassinated, even though it was a fact. You know, it happened. But you're also, you're threatening potentially losing your head by stating that fact. So, I mean, this is what's happening.
Well, and it's amazing too that revolutions of the past are fully accepted and embraced, but no revolutions from henceforth.
Right.
The establishment has agreed. We've got the perfect system. We got that new world order happening, and there's no reason for anybody to want to rebel against something so great.
Right, and
perfect, monumental.
Look at there. I'm jaded enough to think that, like, even if, like, I don't think that necessarily the AfD, if they got into power, it would monumentally change things in Germany for the better. Because I believe that if they did get elected, there would be enough pressure applied to them that the main strokes of what the globalists, the global multinational corporations want to push forth, they will still continue to push forth. So, I'm saying this not to say that like I believe wholeheartedly in all the tenets, but I'll tell you right now, I definitely don't believe in democracy. I don't think it functions, and
No.
I think this is just
Perfect example,
a bit of
once again, of how easily it is by the power elite to thwart any possibility of the general Joe public uniting and taking control of their own destiny.
Oh yeah, and also look at how many assassinations have happened in the States, right? I mean, like, is it crazy that we have all these assassinations that have happened? None of them are motivated by any organizations. Well, that's pretty damn convenient, huh?
Right.
I mean, we've seen assassination after assassination in the States, or attempts, right? And oddly enough, it's just some crazies. Oddly enough, the Secret Service, who's supposed to be this incredibly sophisticated organization of the top, most elite bodyguards in the planet, just seem to shit the bed on a regular basis. That's kind of weird. They shit the bed on a regular basis, unable to deal with one person with a chemical imbalance in their brain. On multiple occasions, you would think after your first president's head got blown off that there would be like, okay, guys, let's tighten the belt. Let's get serious now. We got some bodyguarding to do. But so,
well, just side note,
how could that be? Just every time this happens, it's some lone wacko. I don't buy it. I mean, maybe you out there think that this is like all above board. The official story is true, but I don't think so.
right? No, neither do I.
Hey,
And that's probably why we're doing what we're doing.
yeah, I mean,
If we wanted to just mimic, we could just go over the 6 o'clock news and just go, yeah, well, and and Speaker Pelosi and she just did this, and well, the Republicans are just going along with it.
well, yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I wasn't
That was
thinking.
Blowhard Limbaugh.
Yeah, I got it. I wasn't thinking that I wanted to do this video, but I just sometimes when things don't quite add up, to me, the truth is more important than
Right.
anything else. So, if all of these events are normal and fine, I mean, I'm conspiratorial enough to say that I think that sometimes you could have a double fake where you lie about the circumstances of these mysterious deaths, and then it's to maybe they're going to push forth the AFD. Maybe this is a bit of publicity. Maybe they're going to get more votes, and they've got enough corporatists embedded in the AFD to basically do what they want, and they're going to make it seem like there's some big revolution. Because as far as Italy goes, I don't think that a whole shitload has changed. People were like, "Oh no, it's a far right. Hey, she's gonna change everything. Our entire liberal framework is gonna be destroyed." And it's not really like that, right?
I wanted to say this because for all these people that go on about these far right organizations in Europe or anywhere else, but particularly Europe, that want to curtail Africans and Asians from being a part of this European Union, keep in mind that Italy and Spain and Portugal and everywhere else that are part of this European region, they have to accept people from within the union coming into their area, buying up property or whatever, setting up a business maybe.
Yeah, so there's no mechanism
So
for
it's
keeping
not,
people out.
Right, so it's not what they're trying to imply that we're going to just have Italians living within the Italian proper country of Italy.
Right.
Because there's people from Ukraine or Poland or Germany. Anybody can move up and down within the European Union.
Well,
and they have seen a lot of property cost rise because people were moving around that had money in Northern Europe coming down into Mediterranean
Right.
and buying up property.
Also, look at
There,
this.
I rest my case.
Right, but look at also this this idea of like Trump being this like alt right, fascist or whatever like this, and to me, I don't see it. I think
Well, I haven't
for
s- I
me the
haven't even
biggest
heard
criticism I would have of
during the
Trump
second
is
term.
that he is a corporatist shill. AI is gonna do great things. We're gonna put $500 billion into new server farms. It's going to be a great boon. Really? I mean, the if you look at not what he says, forget the rhetoric, right? Let's see what he does. Everything he does is like deregulation of corporations,
Right.
funneling money into big tech. All of the bullshit rhetoric about American jobs and everything like this. These big corporations, these monopolized corporations, are growing larger. He actually repealed that because there was going to be a restriction of private prisons. He wants to expand these things. These are the silent things that
you
are
could
happening.
compete against China and their slave labor by enslaving Americans into that private prison industry.
No, I know. So this is like, forget what people say. This is an important
It's
standpoint.
what they do.
It's what they do. So like in that, I don't necessarily 100% believe that just because there's people out there like Germany for Germans, I don't necessarily think, like, I'm jaded enough to think that they could just be doing a bunch of BS and that you could have your same backroom deals with that party as well. It's just a bit of a theater that's being operated.
Sure.
Just give the Germans who feel like they're being squished and pushed out of their country, just give them a little bit of piecemeal.
I want to give one final little caveat.
Sure.
And that is the premise of peak oil and whether Western Europe can even survive, the European Union can survive now that it's been cut off of the Nord Stream pipeline. And this whole rallying cry of saving Ukraine from Russia, it could be just a pretense to once and for all take a stand and invade Russia and try to strip it of its natural resources. Because what's the alternative? China's swallowing up whatever oil is on the market. It could easily take more. So where's it getting its natural gas?
No, there's definitely, I mean, everything is gearing up. If you study history, you'll kind of see that there was a large period before World War II broke out.
Right.
There was a lead up to it.
So you got Saudi Arabia running out of oil, possibly. That's why it's getting into wanting to develop this city using nothing but renewable energy. And you've got Trump with a hard-on for Venezuela right now because it's sitting on some of the best quality oil. And because of its economic situation, it hasn't been using a lot of that and not being able to sell it because of the embargo. So I've never heard of Maduro being a narco king. But all of a sudden now, it's that the U.S. government knew this all along.
Well, I thought that there was more of a narco state in Colombia anyway. So, but they just weren't lucky enough to have enough oil to get help from the U.S. Marine Corps to deal with that narco state. They got to deal with that problem themselves.
Well,
maybe if they
Mexico
find
is,
a big oil deposit there, they could get some help from the West.
And here's one thing for every American, Canadian, European to think about. If you wanted to buy some heroin, crack, coke, whatever on the street, you tell me that you looked high and low and you couldn't find it. So all this bullshit about them going after drugs is a colossal joke on the public.
Well, I think it almost seems like when the war on drugs was declared was kind of like the peak of drug accessibility in the States.
Yeah, I think
and in the West.
I think it even went to as far back as Nixon, and definitely Reagan had his rhetoric on war on drugs. And but
yeah, I mean, you don't. I mean, even if you
and you think that the rich really want to have a party without their
a mountain of coke
enhancements?
Yeah, no,
Like,
for sure.
fuck.
I mean, yeah, it'd be like saying a war on prostitution. Like,
Right.
like these guys.
Yeah, we're gonna ID we're gonna have the whereabouts. We're gonna have an implant in everybody so that everybody is tracked, including the rich, including the drug cartel members. Yeah, that's something to ponder.
But we're
folks.
we're getting
We're
a little,
overextending
We're getting a
ourselves.
little long
Never
here.
planned on
So
going this long.
let's wrap it up on a bow. Point is like I think more than anything, this is a good exercise in just looking at how propaganda works, because look at whatever the reality is in Germany, whether these people were assassinated, whether they died of natural causes, that doesn't matter. The big takeaway is that there is a narrative building, and this is a propaganda tool. This situation is used as a propaganda tool to sway people's minds, right? And so, yeah, I think the bigger takeaway is looking at how they manipulate facts, statistics, how they can guide people down a primrose path. You can orchestrate this thing to make it seem like I am analyzing the facts myself and I'm coming up to my own conclusions. But you're
Right,
really
one
just
can,
you're just regurgitating what is laid out for you in basically almost an elementary detail. Most of these articles you could read in like 3 minutes max. Like they're if you look at an old newspaper, it's like almost a novel. Some of
Right.
these are, especially when it's more complicated. They have a lot of information to blast at people, a lot of research that they've done. Nowadays, I mean, we're just getting like this a cartoon
Info
cutout.
problem.
Yeah, and just being like, oh yeah, the conspiracy nuts think that maybe people dying in front of an election means that they were killed. And it's like, yeah,
See,
well,
these are the hateful people. These are the innocent people.
Oh,
These
also remember too that we're all they tell us every day that all people are the same and that everybody is equal and we should all love one another because we're all equal. But if you go, well, in Uganda they kill people that are opposed to their political structure. They go, well, yeah, that's what Ugandans do. But we in the West are superior to that, right? Oh, well, what about the Mexican politicians that get bullet riddle? Yeah, well, they're Mexicans. What do you expect? So, no, see, this is the thing about, there's a lot of people that are like anti-racist that are probably some of the most racist people out there. They're incredibly elitist. They think that white people are the only people capable of high-functioning society or high-functioning thought. They keep that buried deep down inside of them. And so everything, that's why people, they talk about like white people are like responsible. That is such an elitist statement to make, because what you're saying is
inclusivity. Try to get into their prestigious Harvard University, or go into their 5-star restaurant wearing the clothes that you would normally wear to any other type of restaurant. See how inclusive they are.
Well, and
accepting.
I remember the one. The one Charles Dickens, I think it was David Copperfield, but like one of the women was they were at like this soiree. And they were talking to, because one of the guys was in the army who had done some time in India, and she was talking basically almost in the same type of rhetoric of altruism, but in my little gilded golden chair sitting in my lofty area, I'm going to talk about what we should be doing for these people. Exact same.
Pontification is cheap.
People really
It's
haven't
just
changed.
words, it's rhetoric.
People really haven't changed all that much in our history. We're the same people. We just got like smartphones and we're walking around and
Well, when you think about all
driving
these-
in vehicles.
This is just another.
But dude,
stupid-
we should wrap it up. Batteries dying,
okay.
and we've reached our
someday we
our
might try
limit.
to check out where all these philanthropic money goes to.
Oh wow, yeah.
That-
We'll lose
That'd
our
be a
heads
black
for that.
hole.
No. Anyways, have a good weekend, everyone. Bye bye.